Hello students, we are here with another class on the topic the Suitor and Papa. In our last class, we completed the explanation of the story, the Suitor and Papa. And I hope all of you all are clear with the meaning of the story, the line by line explanation. But still, I would suggest that if you find any difficulty in understanding any line, any word, you are most welcome to clarify your doubts. Okay. So in today's class, my planning is to discuss about the writing style of the author Anton Chekhov. And let us see how he has written the story. Now see students, in a particular story or essay or article, whatever it is, any literary topic, there are two ways to analyze it. One is the texture and one is the structure. Texture means the meaning of the story or meaning of the literary topic, and structure means the writing style. By now, you must be very clear that each and every author has his own writing style, and that writing style is developed. Okay, it is the outcome of the age to which the writer belongs, his personal experiences, okay, his background, okay, the influence by other writers. All these things get together to influence the writing style of a particular writer. Now, coming to Anton Chekhov, in our previous classes, I told you that Anton Chekhov happens to be one of the greatest short story writers of the world. It is because of his exceptionally gifted skill in writing stories that he has been able to draw the attention of the readers worldwide. Okay, his themes are interesting, and at the same time, the way he presents the story, his execution, that also is remarkably beautiful. It is marvelous. Okay, that is why he's able to capture the attention of the readers from the beginning to the end. Okay, now if we go to the writing style of Anton Chekhov, we'll find that he is known for certain characteristics of it which are very typical of him and which makes his stories very lucid and very readable. Now, first is the brevity. Brevity means brief. Okay, his stories are not too long, not too verbose, not too long-winded, which makes the reader tiring. Okay, readers get weary of reading too long stories. Okay, they may lose the track of what is happening if you feel your stories is too many characters. If the story is very long, short story is very long, then what happens? Readers may lose the interest in between. But Anton Chekhov's stories are not like that. They are known for their brevity, very brief and very lucid. Okay, now this story that we have read, the Suitor and Papa, does this characteristic, okay, does this characteristic get reflected in this story also? Obviously, this story, the Suitor and Papa, also is a very beautifully projected story. The theme we have all understood. Okay, there is a beautiful plot in the story, and the author Anton Chekhov has been able to make the story very brief and to the point. The crux of the matter of this story, as we have come across many times, is the argument, the heated argument between Konrashkin and Milkin. On what issue? Over the issue of the marriage of Nastya and Milkin. The story does not give us a long information. The story is not long-winded. The author doesn't beat about the bush. He comes to the point directly. He makes the story brief. The characters are also not too many. His story is not peopled by a variety of characters. Very few characters are there. But with this little resource, he has been able to make the story very interesting. So first characteristics of the story that we find here is the brevity. Okay, very brief but lucid and very readable. Okay, very nice, and it is really marvelous. Second point is the stream of consciousness technique. Now, students, this phrase might be new for y'all. Stream of consciousness is a kind of a literary technique adopted by authors of the modern century. Okay, the modern writers, you may say. The modern writers, they have adopted many modern writers like James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, okay, these writers have used a stream of consciousness technique in writing their novels as well as short stories. So our writer Anton Chekhov, the Russian writer, he is also known for his stream of consciousness technique. Now, what do you mean by stream of consciousness? Stream of consciousness technique is that technique adopted by the author where in their writings they not only write about the happenings in the story, but they also depict to us the thoughts in the minds of the characters. Okay, dialogues are there, the storyline is there, actions also take place, okay, activities of the characters take place, as well as we also come to know what is going on in the mind of the characters. Now, in this story, The Suitor and Papa, the author Anton Chekhov, very skillfully he has adopted the stream of consciousness method, because in the story we come to know that although they express, Milkin and Kondrashkin, they express their thoughts, they give vent to the thoughts through the words, okay, through the actions, through the words in the story, but at the same time we also come to know what is going on in the mind of the characters. I may refer to some of the places here. Those thoughts are also related in the story. Don't you think? Here, for example, I will drop in tomorrow and sort it out with that blockhead of a Kondrashkin so that he won't hope in vain. Hey ho. Okay, this line, this is not what Milkin has spoken up to anyone. Okay, it's not a part of a conversation, but it's a part of his thought. Okay, it is something which comes to his mind. Okay, in fact, this entire paragraph, thought Milkin, blast thought Milkin, that's the 10th one who told me I am marrying Nastya. So this whole paragraph is a thought coming to the mind of Milkin. Okay, it's not the words that he has spoken before someone. Again, another one you see, for example, while they were engaged in the heated argument, they were engaged in a verbal altercation, many thoughts came to Milkin's mind, like this say, there is no fooling him, the devil, thought Milkin. Doesn't he want to get rid of his daughters? This is a thought coming to Milkin's mind while he was engaged in a battle of words with Kondrashkin. Okay, there are many other instances here which you can yourself find out. Now, next point is the truthful descriptions of persons and objects. A very realistic description. That word quote unquote realistic is very important. A very real picture. These writers, they project a very real picture of what the characters appear to be like, or the objects appear to be like. They appear to be so real that the thin line of discrimination between reality and fiction, that also becomes blurred, and that is the expertise of the author, the ability to bring the touch of reality to the zenith. Understood? So here also the author Anton Chekhov, he has depicted the characters in a very realistic manner, the actions in a very realistic manner, the things in a very realistic manner, isn't it? It seems as if it is really happening. For example, the character of Anton Chekhov, character of Milkin. Milkin is projected as a young man, okay, and young men are generally like that, okay. They are not very responsible, and they love to spend time like this, okay, flirting with the girls, spending time with people of their age, not taking matters seriously. So he represents a typical young man of Russia of that time. Okay, very realistic representation. Similarly, Kondrashkin is a typical representation of the father of a daughter, an aged man who has daughters for marriage, okay, ready for marriage. So most of the fathers are like that, okay. If we go back to the Russian society of that time, you will see that situations were like that, okay, things were like that. The fathers, the family members were very concerned concerned about the marriages of their young daughters. Also, he has projected that real picture. Especially this story takes place in what place? A rural area, a countryside area, and their people, the mindset of the people there, all these things are very beautifully projected by the author Anton Chekhov. So he gives a very realistic description. Again, we come to know that the story was set in the season of summer. There's a reference to the summer ball. There's a reference to the ballads, and really ballads used to be sung at that time. Now they are no longer in use, no longer very popular. But at that time, ballads were very popular. Love songs were very popular. So all these infusions make the story very real. Okay. Next, you see uses of phrases and idioms. That also enhances the beauty of the story. It makes the story rich when you fill your writings with phrases, idioms, verb phrases. That you may say it enhances, or it raises the standard of the story. So here you see the author Anton Chekhov. He has made exhaustive use of phrases and idioms. For example, those green and salad days, referring to what? Young and inexperienced days. Again, you see that it's in the bag. That is another one. It's in the bag. Going purple in the face means becoming very angry. Okay, so he has used many phrases and idioms in the story, and that really makes the story richer. Okay, that is about the writing skill of the author Anton Chekhov. And he has given a lot of conversation in the story. So in fact, it was I remember taking up a topic story writing with you all, okay, a few months back. So while I was doing the topic story writing, I told you all that in story writing, this conversation is very important. Okay? Dialogues are very important. It is a very integral part of a good story. So in this story written by one of the famous, before you have a story written by a world famous short story writer. So you have seen so many dialogues are here, a lot of conversation is given here, and most of the conversation is between whom? Is between Kondrashkin and Milkin. But in the later part we see there is the conversation between whom? Milkin and his friend Dr. Fituev. And in the initial part we find that there is the conversation between Milkin and his friends in the summer ball. So many people, although characters are very few, but these characters talk among themselves. That conversation part is also very important. So all these things together make the story very interesting. And now coming to the end of the story, the ending of the story, that day also I remember telling all, the ending of the story is also very interesting, that there is scope for the people to think over it. What is going to happen in the end? Okay, he didn't get the certificate as he had hoped to get from his friend Dr. Fituev. So what would Milkin do? There are two possibilities, as I told you, that he may go to Kondrashkin, he may not go to Kondrashkin. So there is a scope for thought. The author Anton Chekhov leaves behind a food for thought for the readers. So that is another important characteristics. Okay. So students, these are the characteristics of Anton Chekhov's writing style, and we find that most of the characteristics are very beautifully delineated in the story, The Suitor and Papa. Okay, next let us come to the title. Okay, the title of the story, The Suitor and Papa. Now, this story, in one word, you may say it's a farcical story. Farcical, okay? It's a humorous story, and the title is very apt. After reading the story, we have to agree that the title of the story is very appropriate, because the whole story is about the two characters, the Suitor and Papa, and we find that there is these two roles, which are stereotypical roles in the society. Suitor means a person who wants to marry the girl, a particular girl, and Papa is the father of that girl. Generally, there is always an important discussion always taking place before marriage between the suitor and the Papa. But here also, the discussion takes place, but here we see that the roles are totally reversed. Okay, there is the contrast in the characters, and the characters are totally different. The Papa Kondrashkin is projected as a responsible person who only thinks about his daughter's marriages and nothing else occupies his mind, whereas the suitor Milkin seems to be a very happy-go-lucky kind of person. Okay, he loves to spend time flirting with girls. Okay, not at all responsible, doesn't want to shoulder the responsibility of getting married, but they speak at the same degree of triviality and ridicule. Mind you, students, the characters are different. The two characters are poles apart in their nature. Okay, but there is a great similarity between them. What is the similarity? They speak at the same degree of triviality and ridicule. Okay, the way they talk. Don't you think there is a lot of triviality in their talk? The way Milken is fabricating, weaving excuse after excuses, some excuses which do not seem to be very realistic, and Kondrashkin at the same time so lightheartedly is taking the excuses, the way he finds a counter answer for the excuses. So their whole conversation seems to be very trivial, and there is an element of ridicule in their conversation. Okay, so these two characters, although totally different in their natures, but their way they speak is very similar. Okay, and the roles are reversed. Here the situation is totally different. Generally, in most cases, we say the papa is not willing to give the daughter, the suitor is begging or pleading before the father, please give your daughter. But here the situation is reversed. Okay, so the story is titled The Suitor and Papa is very apt. Okay, there would have not been any better title than this, because the whole story centers around the suitor and the papa and their conversation, the conversation between them. So that is about the title of the story. Okay, students. Now, let us come to the vocabulary part. Okay. Page number 37. All of you come to page number 37, character study. Now, when we do a story at this level, it's a high secondary level, you have to be able to analyze the characters of the people in the story. It's not that directly we are going to get that this person is like this and this. No, the way he behaves with other people, the way he talks, from there we have to draw the character of the person, and these character sketches are very important. They often come in your exams. Okay, what kind of a person he is, what kind of a person that is. So here we'll get to we have primarily four main characters, two main, that is Kondrashkin and Milkin, and two other characters, Nastia and Dr. Fituev. So what kind of person they are, from their behavior, from their activities, from the way they speak, we are going to draw the points of the characters. Okay, now here it is given, character study. Which of the following qualities are displayed by Piotr in the story The Suitor and Papa? Give reasons for your answer. Okay, the hints are given for you all. You have to develop these hints. You have to work upon these hints, and you can form a beautiful answer. Now, let me tell you. Number one, give reasons, means the points are given, and now it's up to us to justify whether this particular trait is there or not in Milkin's character. Okay, stubborn. Now, students, up to you to think. Do you think Milkin is a stubborn person? Stubborn means obstinate, very determined. What he's going to do, what he thinks he's going to do, he is going to work that out in reality. So Milkin, I think he is a stubborn person. He had made up his mind that he's not going to marry Nastia. So he went to the extent of calling himself a runaway convict, and he was also willing to bring a certificate of madness from his friend Dr. Fituev. Next, adventurous. What do you think? Is Milkin an adventurous person? It may be yes or it may be no. See, in literature, students, you have full liberty to give your own views, but you have to justify it. Why do you think he is adventurous? Or if you think that he's not adventurous, what's the reason behind it? If he's adventurous, if I say that he's adventurous, yes, he's adventurous in the sense that he wants to take risk. He had spent so much of time with the Kondrashkins. He was engaged with, he seemed to have had an affair with one of Kondrashkin's daughter, Nastia, the way he behaved with them, the way he used to bring bunches of flowers for her, go for long walks with her. It seems that he had an adventurous bent of mind. And then when the time comes, he says that he's not going to marry her. So that is also taking an adventure, isn't it? Falling into risk. He knew that he had to face the music, but still he had taken the risk, and he has started an affair with Nastya. If you don't agree, you may write it yourself, okay, in your own arguments. Faithful. What do you think? Is he a faithful person? He seems to be wooing Nastya. Everyone thought that he is a match for Nastya. But if he was a faithful person, he would have married her. But he doesn't seem to be a faithful person. Um, but in some context, you may say that although he said that he's going to bring a certificate from the doctor Fitwev, but he could have escaped from there. But he didn't want to break the faith or trust of Kondrashkin. He wanted to project the certificate, so he went to Dr. Fitwev. From there, may say that he is faithful. But from the angle of Nastya, we cannot say that he is faithful. Grouchy. Grouchy means bad-tempered. Bad-tempered. It seems to some extent he's bad-tempered. He becomes angry with his friends. Okay, the thoughts that come to his mind, it shows that he is short-tempered also. And secretive. Secretive means someone who is very complaining, very secretly he does something. So it's up to you to think whether he's secretive or not. He was secretive, isn't it? He didn't want that his affair with Nastya should spread in the social circle. So he was shocked when everyone came to know, when it spread like wildfire. He wanted to hush up the rumors. He wanted to put an end to all of these things. Immature. What about your views regarding this? Do you think Milkin was immature? May say to some extent, because he didn't want to handle the responsibility of a married life. He didn't consider him to be a mature man enough to get into a conjugal life. Decisive. Decisive means he could take decisions. Okay. Was he decisive or not? Yes, he had stuck to the decision of not marrying Nastya. He could take decisions. Okay, he didn't change his decision. Dishonest and faithful. These two characters we can write together. Clever. Yes, he was clever enough. The way he was projecting excuse after excuses. Frightened. Yes, he was frightened to some extent. We know when he came to meet Kondrashkin, he was embarrassed and he was frightened also because he knew that he had to face the music. Irrational, I think, to some extent, because the excuses that he was giving, everyone can see through them, everyone can understand that those excuses were not real. Unreasonable, irrational, quite similar. Friendly, yes, obviously, if you want to form a friendship with girls, then you have to be very friendly. I'm talking about the boys, okay? Friendly boys can only mix up with the girls. He was quite friendly. That is why he used to spend quality time with not only Nastya but all the 7 daughters of Kondrashkin. He was friendly. That is why he could form such a good terms with Kondrashkin's family. It's so good that he could get dinner, supper, breakfast there, isn't it? He has to be friendly. If a person is reserved, he cannot be social. Next is calculating. I think so is calculating. Okay, he had come to that place, a rural area where he didn't know many people. He was quite calculating. He knew that if he forms a good relationship with someone's house or someone's family, he could go there, he could spend his time there, and he could also get, in fact, it was a bonus for him, he got meals from their family also, isn't it? Responsible. What do you think about? Was he responsible? Did he think about what will be the effect of in Nastya's life if he does not marry her? Does he appear to be responsible in that matter? So it's up to you to think. Students, see it. There is a charm of literature. You get a lot of food for imagination. Okay, it's not that there is a dead end to it. It's not that I am going to tell you something and you have to consider it to be true. Here you have to apply your own thinkings, okay, your analytical mind, the reading with insight. You try to find out whether these characteristics are present in Milkin or not, and then you can compose a beautiful answer. Okay, you think about the story, think, rethink, read it. Yes, now one more topic I'll do, vocabulary. Vocabulary, see, given below are some phrases and idioms from the story. Match them with the right meanings from the box below. Then use the idioms and phrases in sentences of your own as shown in the example below. To see right through someone, meaning what? to be aware that someone is trying to deceive you to get an advantage, to see right through someone. See, students, when you are composing something, any piece of literature, if you use phrases and idioms, then it becomes richer in quality. Okay, you should make it a habit of using phrases and idioms. Now here, some phrases and idioms are given, 10 are there, meanings are given, and you have to match the phrases and idioms with their meanings. Number one, to be in the bag. To be in the bag means to be certain to get or achieve something. Number two, to be fixed up. To be fixed up means to find a life partner for someone. Number three, to get hitched. To get hitched means to get married. 4. To be wet behind the ears, meaning still quite young. 5. To go purple in the face, meaning to become extremely angry. 6. Green and salad days means to be young and without experience. Number 7. To harbor a snake in one's bosom, meaning to entertain or show compassion to a person who is ungrateful. Next, to break out into a sweat, meaning to sweat suddenly because of fear or nervousness. Number 9, to save one's breath, meaning to refrain from a futile appeal or effort. Number 10, put in a nutshell, meaning to sum up in a few words. Okay, all of you write the meanings in the space that is given for you all. Do it, okay? Sincerely, you do your work. Number 2, complete the following sentences choosing the most appropriate idiom from the list below. Make any other changes if necessary. Number 1, I took his suggestion at face value. I hope he is not trying to trick me. That will be the answer. Number 2, the tragedy has shaken her, but she put on a brave face. Number 3, the corruption scandal has left a minister with egg on face. Number 4, when she was not allowed to go on the picnic, her face fell. Number 5, she said to my face that she was not happy with my work. Okay, students, it's now up to you to work this out or write this in your notebook, or you may write it in the textbook itself. Okay, and all of you attempt to write the character sketch of milking. This quality is already given and we have also discussed them. So it is up to you to write, think, take your time, enjoy. Whatever you are doing, you enjoy. Okay, don't consider it to be a burden. Try to enjoy, try to find the charm of literature. I know all of you all are science students, but still, literature is there, meaning what? Human emotions will always be there in the society, as long as there are human beings. So you try to enjoy them, enjoy and do your work. Now, another part, grammar, sentences and phrases. Read the sentences given below. On the first day after his conversation, an embarrassed and somewhat frightened Milkin went into court councillor Kondrashkin's study. Nastya will be here in a jiffy. Number 3, she has just propped over to the Gusevs for a moment. The group of words given below above form sentences because together they make complete sense. Now read the following. Those green and salad days. Enough to knock anybody all of a heap. The group of words given above are called phrases as they do not make complete sense on their own. This is something which you have done in your school days. Phrases and sentences, difference between them. Sentences are a group of words which make a complete sense, okay, which convey a complete meaning. Whereas phrases are a group of words which do not convey a complete meaning, okay, they do not make a complete sense. It seems as if something half is there, okay, something incomplete is about them. So now your task is read the following group of words and state whether they are sentences or phrases. Write S for sentence and P for phrase in the box provided. Okay, the boxes are provided here. Now you have to see, listening to the commentary, number 1. Number 2, I like to see flowers blooming in the garden. Number 3, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Number 4, in a jiffy. Number 5, where the shoe pinches. Number 6, the car broke down on the way. Number 7, by means of. Number 9, in a brave manner. Number 10, number 8, in a brief manner. Number 9, children are playing in the park. Number 10, she wrote a letter to me. Now I think students are too easy. I don't need to tell you all the answers. You do it by yourself. So last part grammar, punctuation. Part of the third paragraph of the story is reproduced below without any punctuation marks. Read it carefully and put in suitable punctuation marks at appropriate places. Use capital letters where necessary. Now students, you all know punctuation plays a very important role in conveying the meaning of a particular sentence or paragraph or whatever it is. Okay, if you put the punctuation marks like commas, full stops, semicolons, colons, inverted commas in the wrong place, then the meaning of the matter will totally change. In fact, sometimes it happens to totally then opposite meaning is conveyed if the punctuation is not done correctly. So there is a task given to y'all that this particular paragraph is given and you do it for punctuation. You will enjoy it. Okay students, so today I end up my class here. I hope all of you will do your work sincerely, read the lesson again and again, and if there is any doubt, feel free to clarify. Thank you students. All of you have a good day ahead.